Hi there, Doug Stimon with IT Creations with the HP Z2 Tower G9 workstation. This is not one of those super duper powerful workstations like say the Z8 G5 or even the Z4 G5, but this one is probably something the vast majority of workstation users would purchase. It won't break your bank account, can be used in basic configuration without a GPU, but you can add a GPU or two later. Perhaps a bit more memory to tackle more demanding workloads. Hit that subscribe button if you like our videos. Now let's get to it. Ours came with a 13th generation Core i9 processor with 24 cores. It offers integrated Intel UHD Graphics 770, and even with just that, you can support dual monitors at 2K or one at 4K. For multi-threaded applications, rendering, simulation, and real-time ray tracing, you're covered. I mean, if you're not going to be building a bridge or editing a full-length FX-rich blockbuster movie anytime soon, this is a fine piece of hardware. It's also ISV certified and can run Adobe Premiere, After Effects, DaVinci Resolve Studio, and Avid Media Composer. All very compute graphics intensive applications. For those who require some performance but don't really need world building capabilities and maybe want a game on the side, this could be a love match. I suppose you could do a little world building, but just not quite as fast. If I were to compare it to something, it's kind of like Dr. Evil's Mini-Me, but not evil. Well, no, it's really not. I mean, Mini-Me never said anything. This system, on the other hand, says a lot. Definitely going to be posting some benchmarks for this system shortly after we release the video. Subscribe if you want to be notified when we drop that one. The exterior of the case is reminiscent of the HP Z2 Tower G9's more powerful siblings in the Z series tower category. Chamfered corners, matte black finish, and dot matrix perforations for airflow below. There is a small handle in back and a removable dust filter under the front bezel. The system doesn't weigh that much, but I do find handles useful. Anyways, this system has a slimline optical drive beside a 5.25-inch media bay, HDD activity LED with power on button, universal audio jack, 4 USB-A ports with one charging port. Those offer a 10 gigabit per second signaling rate, while that USB-C port below delivers a 20 gigabit per second signaling rate. Lastly, an optional SD card reader. There are storage options for the 5.25-inch media bay, but we will get to that. Are you interested in the HP Z2 G9 Tower workstation? If you are, then for a limited time, you can save up to $500 off a system that's listed or one that you configure that's valued at $5,000 or more. Just click that link to learn more. And when you're ready to make a purchase, just mention this video to save. itcreations.com. In back, we have a 92% efficiency 700 watt PSU with two 6+2 power graphics connectors. Thankfully, because we did add a GPU to the mix after testing out that Intel UHD Graphics 770 module. Starting at the top, audio line in, line out jack, dual display port 1.4, and a flex IO module slot that offers a lot of options, as you can see here, but you only get one. Supported on this system are 12th, 13th, and 14th generation Core i5, i7, and i9 processors. Those with a K suffix provide a bit more performance with overclocking capabilities and integrated graphics, so no graphics card is required. Those processors with a KF suffix do not support integrated GPU graphics, so you will need a graphics card. What all of those processors have in common are a mix of performance cores or P cores and efficient cores or E cores. I think the names speak for themselves. P cores are capable of reaching up to 6 gigahertz and offering greater performance. Faster is usually better in computing. E cores, on the other hand, are better for energy efficiency, also of benefit when operational costs are considered. There are a few more new features that sound like branded names. Examples: thermal velocity boost to elevate performance, the thread director for multi-threaded applications, dynamic tuning technology, and adaptive boost for overclocking. And here are a few more: Intel Extreme Tuning Utility, Intel Extreme Memory Profile, Intel Dynamic Memory Boost, and Intel Ultra High Definition Graphics. Now that last one, Ultra High Definition Graphics or UHD Graphics 770, this is what was powering our dual 2K monitor setup until we installed the NVIDIA RTX A4000 graphics card. The more high-end systems in the Z series require a graphics card to power monitors. There is no UHD graphics support on, say, the Z8, Z6, Z4, or even the Fury. With integrated UHD graphics and the 2 DisplayPort 1.4 on the back, good to go. UHD Graphics 770 is integrated with most of the supported CPUs from the 12th through the 14th generation CPUs, with some lower-end CPUs in each generation outfitted with UHD Graphics 730. It will play games, less demanding games, but still you can game with it. You can get one monitor at 4K or dual monitors at 2K. That flex port can also support DisplayPort 1.4 with a monitor resolution of up to 5K, but just one. Surprisingly, this system can support 2 graphics cards. A metal panel over the PCI slots is designed to hold those GPUs in place, reducing stress on the actual PCI slot. The NVIDIA RTX A4000 is a single-width graphics card, and there are a bunch more options supported, including a double-wide NVIDIA RTX 5000 8th generation with 32 GB of GDDR6 memory. Also a number of AMD GPUs with the AMD Pro W7900 with 48 GB of GDDR6 at the top of the AMD stack. The RTX A4000 offers Ampere architecture and does require a 6-pin power connector for its 140-watt power draw. One thing to consider, and I will preface this by saying I don't make the rules, the 700-watt PSU can support a 250-watt professional graphics card or up to 320 watts of graphics power when the unit is factory configured with said graphics card. The CPUs offer 2 channels of DDR5 memory, and we have 4 memory module slots for 2 memory modules per memory channel. That can be ECC or non-ECC memory modules. Memory will run at up to 4400 MHz in a 1 DIMM per channel configuration, or up to 4000 MHz with 2 single-rank DIMMs in each channel and only capacities of 8 GB or 16 GB. If you add in 32 GB of dual-ranked DIMMs in all slots, memory speed is further reduced to 3600 MHz. In a nutshell, if you want the fastest memory speed possible, that would be a single 32 GB memory module in each of the 2 memory channels for 64 GB total, only in the black slots. For the full memory complement of 128 GB, you will take a hit on memory speed. The system comes pre-installed with Windows 10 and a free upgrade to Windows 11. You can also get it pre-installed with Windows 11 Pro or Home versions. You can also get Linux, Ubuntu, and a few other Linux flavors. Another cool feature is HP's High Performance mode, which is a setting in BIOS that delivers a performance boost of up to 34%. Of course, that boost depends on what GPU, CPU, and memory support you have on the system. Oh, and it is configured for High Performance mode from the factory. The other 2 modes are Performance mode and Quiet mode, both of which will have an impact towards reduced performance. I will admit, I found that a little curious, as ordinarily you might want to increase performance, not decrease. I mean, it seems to already be running at top speed by default, right? Oh, and it also comes with HP Anywhere. You don't need a VPN. It's free and provides secure remote access to the system from anywhere you can access an internet connection. Also great for IT administrators if the system is a company platform. There are 4 PCI slots on the system board. That includes 1 PCI 5.0x16 slot and then 3 more slots, all PCI 3.0, with 2 x4 slots, 1 with a x16 connector and the other open-ended. Lastly, a x1 slot with a x4 open-end connector. Clearly that PCI 5.0 slot is where we installed our NVIDIA RTX A4000 GPU. The other would go in one of those x4 link slots. Realistically, you probably would not get peak performance out of that second GPU given the x4 link width. Additional LAN or large area network options include 10 gigabit Ethernet, SFP+, single and dual port options, or up to 25 gigabit Ethernet, SFP+, again with single and dual port options. It's VR ready when paired with an HP Reverb G2 VR headset. The system does have an optional WLAN module, and you can connect a Wi-Fi antenna to the system for better reception with another optional kit. We didn't find it necessary with our wireless guest account at IT Creations, and this one is not equipped with the external antenna. It worked quite fine. For storage, HP says this little unit can be configured with up to 48 terabytes. There are 3 PCI 4.0x4 M.2 slots on the system board, plus 2 3.5-inch drives, and the option to install an additional 2.5-inch SSD. All internal M.2 drives support capacities of up to 4 terabytes. The primary M.2 is located just below the memory module slots. The other 2 just beside that. The SATA drives range from 500 gigabytes to 12 gigabytes of storage each, but are no match for speed compared to those M.2 drives. Real-time data backup includes a RAID 0 for a striped array that can be accommodated on a single drive, or for more security and recommended, a RAID 1. RAID 1 will require at least 2 drives and operates in mirror mode with each storage device duplicating the data of the other. For optional drive support, you can install a Crew QX328 SSD removable frame with support for 2 M.2 drives in that front 5.25-inch media bay. The kit has a cage for the 5.25-inch media bay to support another 3.5-inch drive cage that in turn supports dual removable M.2 drive caddies at 2 terabytes each. It's lockable too. There's also the option to add the DX175 in that front media bay. The DX175 installs in the 5.25-inch media bay, and it has a 3.5-inch drive cage for a single 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch form factor drive. It too can be locked to protect your drive from locking off. Other more mundane additions include an optical drive or read-write optical drive. For that 48 terabyte figure, that assumes a 12 terabyte drive in both the internal toolless 3.5-inch drive bays. From what I can tell, the 2.5-inch drive bay only supports self-encrypting drives up to 500 gigabytes at 7,200 RPMs in the 7mm size. It's the only 2.5-inch drive offered in QuickSpecs. The actual drive is mounted on the side of the 5.25-inch media bay cage and includes a few screws at the top to mount the drive. Assuming less than stellar drive capacity for that 2.5-inch drive, you would install a third 3.5-inch drive into the front media bay, as that would give you 36 terabytes with three 3.5-inch SATA drives installed. Then add three 4 terabyte NVMe M.2 drives in the 3 onboard slots for a total of 48 terabytes. This system is very compact, flexible, and is just barely what I would call an entry-level workstation, as it can still support dual graphics cards. It offers some very impressive performance for the price. Well-designed, quiet, even with that GPU, and starts up fast thanks to the M.2 drive. This is a very reasonable system for doing truly entry-level workloads like word processing, some database work with Excel. However, you can also kick it up several notches by installing 1 or 2 GPUs and a high-end CPU. Then we're talking real-time ray tracing, VR, powerful 3D graphics for AE&C. I like this system. If you're interested and want to learn more, head over to IT Creations using one of those links in the description or that one right there, itcreations.com. And look for the benchmarks for this system in a week or two. Until next time, I'm Doug Stuman with IT Creations. Thanks for watching.